Okay, yeah, okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and get things started. All right. Okay. Okay.
So we're starting.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get things started. Welcome everybody to the 7th IESF World Championships, the International Esports Federation. My name is Reed Rapid Melton, and I was originally supposed to be joined by Nick DeCesar, otherwise known as LS. Unfortunately, he is very sick, so he's not able to be with us today, so best wishes to him. In place of LS, I'm going to be joined by Justin Song, or Jay Song. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jay Song. I'm just today filling in for LS. I'm glad to be here to have this opportunity. I've previously worked in the league scene a little bit. I've worked at OGN working with Vainglory, and currently work with an NALCS team, so look to give a little bit about my background. But again, glad to be here.
Right, so Jay Song's going to be helping me out with a little bit of the analysis work for today, and I guess we should probably talk about the games today. So we'll be working through the preliminary brackets for League of Legends today. I think we have 6 matches scheduled to come your way. It's best of 3 all the way through the preliminary matches, so there's going to be a lot of action here today. Now, what is IESF? It's the International Esports Federation. That means that we're going to be covering countries from around the world. These are national teams, so all of the players from these teams do belong to the country that you're seeing them represented. You can see the total of 23 countries participating here in IESF this season. It's actually pretty impressive to see 200 players from around the world. And this isn't just kind of from around the world. This is actually from absolutely everywhere. Well, everywhere with 23 countries. They're going to be competing in 3 events: League of Legends, StarCraft 2, and Hearthstone. You can see the brackets here for League of Legends on your screen right now. Now, this is, we've taken 16 teams, split them up into 4 groups. The top 2 teams from each group will advance out to the playoffs starting tomorrow. Now, that does mean that they'll be playing round robin in their groups, and I think we'll be starting things off with Group B, and then skipping around between the groups as the days go on.
And we have the point system scoring of official titles here. I know we're going to have a vote for that later, but first place gets 100 points, second place gets 51 points, third place gets 31 points, fourth place gets 21 points from the round of 8, from 5th through, so the 5th and through 8th get 16 points, and anyone who's left over out of round of 16 will be getting 11 points. And these points contribute to the team according to their nationality, and the combined score will determine the winner of this entire tournament.
Right, so you get points for the placement within each one of the 3 esports events here at the 7th IESF World Championship, and then as you score your points, they'll be added up in the end, and the country with the most points will be crowned the champion of the 7th World Championships.
And then we have today's matches going on here. First match will be prelim match 1 versus Thailand's LazerCat and Iran's Rise of Gamers.
That's right, and then we'll be following up there with the Philippines team versus Team Chinese Taipei, and then Mongolia versus Romania, Mongolia versus Chinese Taipei. I mistakenly said Philippines versus Russia is going to be our second match. And then the Tunisian Sleet Pushers versus Team Romania, Team South Africa versus LazerCats, and Indonesia national team versus Team Philippines.
So a lot of games going on today.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, these are best of 3s as well, so there are going to be a lot of games coming out. Now, your matchups for the first match of tonight, the LazerCats coming in from Thailand versus Iran's Rise of Gamers. You can see the matchups there. Now, these are the 2 teams that I know the least about. And to be fair, a lot of these teams, a lot of these players will be new to most viewers. But that's why we had tournaments like this, so we can see the best talent from each one of these regions come here to IESF to compete in the World Championships.
Of course.
Get things started there on the stage. The players are actually getting ready in their booths right now. You guys can see the 6th stage here, the Nexon Arena in Seoul, South Korea. Absolutely incredible. You see the teams there on your screen right now. That is the Thailand team, LazerCats. Intensity already starting up there. And of course, Rise of Gamers from Iran, getting things ready to go. Looks like we're going to take a few minutes to get the players ready, get ready to go, get all their peripherals set up and everything under control. So that gives us a little bit more time to talk about just the event overall. So this is taking place over 4 days. And while Jason will, or I keep calling you Jason, it's Justin, it's Jason. I'm going to have to work on that. While Justin will only be joining me for one of the days, we're going to have a lot of fun because we have a ton of League of Legends to
And
catch.
that's what I'm here for, watch a lot of these games. You know, I'm excited.
All right, so looks like you can see the stage there as well as the 3 esports that are being played. It's going to be exciting to not only broadcast League of Legends today, but then we'll also be broadcasting StarCraft 2 and Hearthstone in the days to follow, specifically tomorrow and then all the way up until the grand finals a few days from now. So 4 days of international esports action. I'm pretty excited for that.
I'm very excited too. If you saw the opening ceremony, we had a lot of members from different organizations come here, from IESF, International Olympic Committee and all that, and we had the head of Korean esports department here too, so putting a lot of emphasis in this tournament itself, so I'm very excited too.
I'm pretty excited too. In case you guys didn't catch that opening ceremony, go back and watch it. We had sand painting, an epic intro to what is hopefully going to be an equally epic tournament. Now, you guys may have watched international League of Legends competitions before, but what's going to be so interesting about this one in particular is that these are teams from countries that you probably haven't heard of before. We've got countries like Iran, Serbia, Mongolia, Israel, South Africa, Switzerland, Thailand, all of those. Some teams may be from regions that you have seen in other competitions, but you probably haven't seen these particular national teams because, of course, like we talked about, they all have to be from their participating region.
Of course, and with the All-Stars coming up from League of Legends and all the other events that are coming up, it's nice to see countries that are not getting represented in other tournaments to be here and competing against each other, representing their own country itself. I think that's very great.
I know I'm from the States, so I haven't personally been represented there's no U.S. representatives here, but I've been talking to a lot of the players from around the world who are here to participate, and it's been really cool to talk to them about some of their minor competitions as they've been starting out in esports, and then just getting bigger and bigger within all of their countries. I was talking earlier about some of the leagues developing in Mongolia, especially, really heavily investing in esports, and that's not a country that I traditionally associate with that, so it's just really cool to hear about a lot of different smaller countries around the world, even bigger countries around the world, coming here together to compete at the 7th International Esports Federation World Championship.
What I personally feel like why this league is important with this tournament, World Championship is important is because we get to see the potential of a lot of these regions that we're not aware of. We might see Iran play very well, Israel play very well, Mongolia, as you have mentioned. So, whatever happens today might be the future of esports in general.
I was going to say, I envision a world, 10, 20 years from now when, every country has a super huge international, League of Legends esports team, and they're all just competing at the top level. We've seen, different countries dominate. We've had Sweden and Korea both do very well in IESF in years past, and now we get to see all of these countries come here to compete. Man, the future for esports is just so incredible right now, and it's exciting to come together with so many teams from countries around the world to experience here at IESF.
It's a very growing industry.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And you can just see by all of the countries being represented here. These are teams that I haven't seen represented traditionally in a lot of major tournaments. And in talking to a lot of the players, they're like, yeah, we may not get a lot of exposure, but we actually have huge League of Legends tournaments inside our country with, a national press covering it and, commentators, big venues. And I'm just like, wow, this is a lot bigger than even I expected.
International tournaments such as this would give them the exposure they need, because if they play well, then people will start following it and then see what the scene's a whole about. So again, I'm very excited.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the groups that we'll be having for today's tournament. The two teams that you're seeing compete here on your screens, Thailand and Iran, are both part of Group B, together with South Africa and Switzerland, teams that we'll be seeing play a little bit later on in the tournament. So to start things out, LazerCats from Thailand. The only stats that I could find in gleaning all of my research was that depending on where you look for these players, they're going to be at least relatively highly ranked. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these players play on servers that are not necessarily native to their countries. A lot of the countries don't have their own League of Legends servers. So I was talking to the players from Israel who actually play a lot on EU West and have that environment to practice and train in. So that's pretty exciting to see that even though they're a country without their own server, they're still playing on servers that have very well developed esports history.
Yeah, and if they're playing with those kind of pings from different regions, it shows a lot of their dedication to the game and how much they want to play the game, even with those externalities that might affect it. So.
Yeah, and I was actually, speaking of the Israeli team, talking to them, they actually get really good ping to the EU West servers, like 60, 70 ping. It's actually pretty incredible to see how maybe the world's a little bit smaller than you think about it. That's one of the big sort of realizations I'm having here at IESF, is that you may think of esports as like a global phenomenon, but you don't really realize how global it is until you come to a tournament here like the International Esports Federation, IESF 7th World Championship here, to actually see the real players. We have 200 plus players from around the world, and these are guys that I personally have not, for the most part, had the chance to meet before. And in just talking to them, it's like, I don't know you, I may not speak your language, but it is so cool to come together because we all understand esports, we understand the games, and it's really cool to have that in common. No matter where you're from, if you're part of esports, if you're playing in these tournaments, it's just really cool to have that in common.
Yeah, and I guess that's best part of gaming. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is, you can always turn on your computer and play video games. And it's very accessible, I want to say.
Definitely, and especially for this event here in Korea. I know Korea, kind of a nexus of esports for quite a while. It was really impressive for me to come in. There's actually a PC bong like 2 feet away from the hotel that I'm staying in, and it maybe seems kind of stereotypical, but I was like, I wonder where the nearest PC bong is. Looked it up. It's like 2 feet away. I went down there last night, and it was so cool to just see the basis for Korean esports right there. I know several of the players that I've talked to have also experienced the PC infrastructure here, and it's just really cool. I think my hotel internet here is better than the internet that I have at my house at home. So I'm just like, it's pretty cool to be here. It's my first trip to Korea, and I know Justin's been here quite a while. So
yes,
kind
I've
of
been
showing
here
me around.
half and half. Yeah, PC bongs, very common thing here in Korea, just because how the culture is. Especially gaming too, and I personally think that's how it developed a lot, is the cultural aspect of Korea and Asia. It's like that fosters the environment where you have to go inside and play games because they just don't have a lot of time to do anything else. So it's like,
well, yeah, big esports infrastructure, and Korea will be fielding a team for IESF. It's a team known as FOG or FOG. We'll maybe explain a little bit more about that as we get a chance to watch them as this tournament goes on. It looks like we may be about ready to get this underway. We're just waiting on Thailand and Iran, both of their players and teams, to get everything set up here. So while we wait for that, we can talk about maybe a few of the other teams in this tournament. I do encourage you guys, if you're looking for more information, it's definitely out there. I was looking up all the teams, the rosters, the schedules for all this, for the entire event. It's on IESF.com, so you can find out anything you want about there. They've got detailed rosters and everything there, so it's been really cool to just see not only the information that's being put out there about the event, but also the national news, media, esports clubs coming together and really getting the news out there themselves. Like, I hadn't heard about a lot of the players or the rosters for the teams for this tournament before, but then in just looking around, I saw an Israeli publication, a South African publication, saying, hey, members, citizens from our country are going to Korea to compete in 7th IESF World Championship. Let's talk about them, their adventures, how they came together as a team, and then they're not just a League of Legends team. They're representing their entire country here at IESF.
Yeah, and I feel like for the players, that itself has a lot of vendetta in themselves to playing at an international tournament representing their own country. If I might feel a little bit pressure, I don't know, maybe.
I mean, if I were theoretically, if you're on an esports team, you're playing in competitions like that, that's enough pressure right there. But then you realize that, oh, by the way, I'm representing my entire country. So sometimes if you're like, hey mom, I'm going to play in this tournament, come watch me at like my local PC cafe or something like that. That's one level of pressure. But when your entire country is going to be watching you and how you represent represent them in IESF. Like that's a pretty big burden.
It is a big burden, and also keep in mind the fact that this is probably one of their first LAN events that they're participating in that's getting broadcasted internationally at all times. So I think that in itself has a lot of factors going into these games, how the players will play to their full potential, excluding all the other factors. So.
Right, and for some players, for some teams, this may actually be their last event, considering that these teams are made up of players, from their regions. Others may have offers to go to different teams when they return, and so you may not get a chance to see these particular rosters compete again. So really, this IESF is a really, really good opportunity to see where these countries are at as far as their esports infrastructure. It's going to be pretty exciting to see how they face off
here,
again.
see all the flags of the teams that are being represented.
Swapping back over there to the Iranian team, getting things started, seeing if that they're going to get everything up and ready to go. And not even flags of teams, flags of entire countries. So that's going to be especially exciting when that works out. So looks like just waiting on the players here, and we should be able to get this go here in just a minute. But in the meantime, Justin, what's your esports experience been like so far in Korea? I know
in
talked a
Korea?
little bit, yeah,
or myself.
Well, talk about yourself.
I mean, I've been always into gaming in general.
Okay.
Growing up, I had my first personal computer when I was in first grade. So I don't know if it was the right decision for my parents, but I had fun growing up. Played a lot of StarCraft. I actually was into MMORPGs.
Okay.
Like World of Warcraft was the primary game that I played. FPS, Counter-Strike, all that. But about 2-3 years ago, started playing League of Legends. Based on my friends' preferences, and then decided to join the game and been part of the scene ever since. Okay, so
all right. Continue.
And then this summer I had the chance to work at OGN, working for a game called Vainglory. I was doing a lot of translations, and that's how I actually got into the scene, met a couple of people. Someone offered me a job working with some team from NA, so that's what I'm currently doing as a moment. And it's been a great experience just being here.
Well, hopefully it's going to continue to be a great experience as you cast here with me. I promise I don't bite, so we'll get the chance to know each other, and of course everybody else out there watching hopefully get a chance to know not only us, but of course the teams playing. We'll be seeing these guys compete a lot over the course of their group stage matches, preliminary games here from today. There's going to be playing a lot, so hopefully you guys are ready for some international esports competition. It does appear as if we'll be having a little bit more of a delay as we wait for the players and the setups to continue to be prepared. So that means that we got a little bit of a wait before the games actually start. But once they start, we're going to be having a lot of League of Legends.
A lot of League of Legends, and you guys won't have to talk us here for the entire thing. So
my experience with esports, I've been doing commentary for about 5 years now, and specifically with League of Legends, started out for me, just casting small collegiate leagues, and then it turns out that you meet players who are in college who also happen to be pretty good at the game, and then followed them up as they join teams, and even with a lot of the players from this event, a couple of them I've actually had the pleasure of getting to meet and see play in other organizations. I know there's a substitute player for the Australian team competing here who plays for the OPL team Trident Esports, and I was like, wow, this is super cool because I've gotten a chance to watch them play before professionally, and he's going to be joining his team Imperium here to represent Australia. So that's actually really, really exciting for me to get a chance to not only be involved in international leagues for the last few years, but also to see so many players from so many regions come here to compete at IESF.
Do you want to talk about your background for a little bit?
Well, it was a little bit of my background. I think most recently I've done casting for the LJL. It's the Japanese League of Legends circuit. If you've been familiar with that. If you're not, you should totally check it out because they're totally going to Worlds next year.
JPL going to Worlds.
But also just a lot of challenger scene work in general. Super excited for not just challenger players up and coming as in established regions, but also for international players up and coming in their various regions as well. I had a chance once again to talk to a few of the players and teams from different regions just this morning. We're all down at breakfast, and it was watching the different teams come in and eat, and got a chance to talk to a few representatives from Romania yesterday, and I was like, how's all that working out? It's super exciting to hear about all of them, and it's going to be exciting to see these games start. Looks like we have about a 5-minute break coming up, so we're going to send you over to that. We'll be right back with some more League of Legends. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 7th International Esports World Championship. My name is Reed Rapid Melton, joined once again by Justin Song. Justin, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been good for the past 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, good. And I know our teams are doing a lot better here. We've got everybody in the lobby ready to go for our first game of the day. It's going to be a best of 3. Now, keep in mind, these are preliminary matches, so it's going to be best of 3, but it is single elimination. So if you lose your best of 3 here, you are out of the tournament. Not going to be seeing you tomorrow, but that does mean that we are going to be going through, I think, 6 preliminary matchups between some of the opening countries are Thailand. We're seeing face Iran here first off, and then Russia facing off against Philippines. It looks like the teams are ready to go. We should be getting into our first game here in just a minute. You can see as the teams get ready, it looks like everything is good to go. So we've got Thailand versus Iran here, Justin. Now, we don't know too much about these teams. It's going to be exciting to see how they face off against each other.
Yes, personally speaking too, I don't know any of these players, but I mean, they're representing their own country. They must have some sort of,
And here we go. We're getting into Game 1, champion picks and bans. Of course, we're going to be seeing Thailand there over on the the right-hand side of your screen, with Iran playing over there on the blue side. Now, sides were chosen by coin flip before this game, and if we get to a third game, that game will also be chosen by coin flip, or at least the sides for those. And now we get to go through picks and bans. We're going to go ahead and start things off there. You can see Tom Kench, the first ban there by Iran.
Top tier support right now, a very good ban. I do not know if that is in one of the LazerCat's support players champion pool, but good ban. Elise, okay, so second ban is Elise. Trying to get rid of the junglers first.
And primarily, we're going to be just seeing strong champions be banned out here. There's not a lot of research that you can do between a lot of these teams. Now, some of them may be more well-known than others, but you'll probably see adjustments made between games.
And keep in mind, we're playing in patch 5.23. That is the most recent patch. So, okay, Ribbon Band come in here.
That's actually kind of interesting. I would imagine that's top lane Riven. We've seen a big shift since the preseason changes to top lane carries. So you're going to be seeing a lot more damage, a lot more priority put up there. And with that Riven ban there, you can see probably not going to be seeing that.
Riven ban also is very countable. It's not a very good first pick to take and it's not a good pick to take unless you have other primary engages, for example, Ash Arrows, stuff like that. So I don't know why the Riven ban came here, but something.
All right, well, looking for the next one, it's Fiora. All right, so keeping in that trend of maybe banning out the top lane, a lot of focus there. Riven, Fiora, and now Jax being banned out as the last ban here by Iran. There's still a lot of very, very strong picks that haven't really been targeted here. A lot of focus towards the top lane. What else is really left up that stands out to you?
Mundo is probably the strongest pick in this patch right now. So it's really weird not seeing that being banned. Morgana ban coming in here. So Rise of Gamers has a lot of options to take for their first pick right now.
You say Mundo's really big. What about Lord Dominic's Regard and all those Last Whisper items that act like they really counter like these high health, big tanky champions? I saw those be put into the game. I was like, yes, finally an answer to these big super tanks. But I know we were talking earlier, and you're kind of skeptical about those.
Well, with the new item changes, the Last Whisper changed most effectively, I think, allowed AD carries to not be able to kite against these lot of high health regen, high health tanks, since it only affects bonus armor. And Mundo has just been a very strong pick, both in the jungle and in the top lane.
But the first pick, yeah, it's Kayle. Now, Kayle has always been a champion that, or at least in previous patches, was a champion that was played like strict AP in the mid lane. But since then, it's been diversified a lot, and the big item to talk about this patch is Guinsoo's Rage Blade.
Yes, Guinsoo's Rage Blade goes very well with Kayle, with the additional AD and AP scaling that Kayle has. And also, we've seen Kayle come out in the top lane before in certain metas. We don't know where this Kayle might go as of now. Okay, Lulu coming in, Thresh coming in. Those are very good picks for the first rotations. Lulu definitely pick or ban stage right now in competitive gaming. Thresh, very good support, high utility, very good kit for and other than since the Tahm Kench was banned by Rise of Gamers, it's a very good pick to take at this moment.
Yeah, and so with two support champions picked up there, the LazerCats have already started to maybe telegraph their team composition. You're going to go pick support, pick support. Well, you're going to have to get your damage from somewhere, and so this might be setting up for like a protect the AD carry thing.
That's what Lulu comp is mostly about, picking it with a high damage, late game scaling ADCs, and we can also flex this Lulu pick for mid and top, though we've been seeing it more in the mid lane recently.
Right.
But it's the whole point of picking Lulu is to snowball the AD, put more emphasis on the bot lane later on as the game goes on into the late game. So,
well, it's important to realize like Kayle's been played as support in certain metas as well, and anytime you're going to put all your eggs in one basket, it's pretty cool if that basket doesn't die for 3 seconds.
Okay. Braum here and Vayne. I mean, there are different metas for each individual country, so
right.
I cannot personally say if those were the two top picks that I would go for in this situation, but maybe these are comfort picks.
A lot of changes to Marksman here in the most recent patches, preseason patches, but I feel like you talk about Vayne as an AD carry. You can't really talk about her until you get through AD carries like Kalista, a big pick for so many, so long, so many seasons, so many patches. But it looks like with Vayne being picked up, the hyper carry of choice being chosen here for the pseudo protect the AD carry composition from Thailand. It's going to be Tristana at 14 seconds until that gets locked in.
Okay. Rek'Sai is a very good jungler. After banning Elise, we're only left with then either some like, again mentioned, Rek'Sai or Lee Sin. So Rek'Sai here is actually think is very good, and they do not have that much early game pressure from Iran. So coming in, and they could also very well running the protect ADC pump with KO ult. So we don't know.
I feel like if you're going to run Protect the ADC composition, like Lulu's a really, really big pick.
Yes, that's why in most competitive gaming currently, Lulu is either pick or ban sort of a champion. But
now another pick that we see in a lot of Protect the AD carry compositions is Morgana. That's been banned out there by Thailand, so they might have said, hey, we don't want to play against this because it allows a lot of, or it removes a lot of counterplay because you just can't get CC'd, especially Morgana Kayle when you get those sisters together. Want to put both of those shields from intervention and then the black shield on one target. You can't take off the black shield. You're invincible. You can't get CC'd. It's really devastating. So nice Morgana ban, and now we're gonna see Jarvan covered over. No, Jarvan's been coming back a little bit in this patch.
Yes, players have been utilizing Jarvan pick for both top and jungle. We've seen Huni play top Jarvan in Worlds. Top Jarvan actually has been picked by a couple of pros recently, but we don't know where it might go. And probably going this jungle, running kill top. And we have Victor here against Orianna, so Victor a very strong mid champion.
Yeah, and we've seen Victor pretty classic mid laner ever since like the beginning of ever since you've ever heard of a little team called the Ku Tigers or GE Tigers or whatever you want to call them, the Tigers really popularized the Victor mid, and it's a pretty classic pick along with Orianna, maybe Ari, just those champions that you really expect to see in the mid lane, hallmarks of that lane for quite a while, but hovering over maybe an Anivia there at the same time.
Anivia and Victor both really good lane clear. Anivia after 6, so they're trying to protect the ADC composition with a Lulu comp here going to top, and Victor coming in your mid with a really good lane clear, and Rek'Sai for the early game and mid game pressure. So, and Tristana late game carry also. So I think, you know, in terms of picks and bans, I think Thailand, came out here.
Yeah, Thailand really strong, a lot of synergy there, especially if they're able to just wave clear until, 30, 40 minutes, 80 carry gets 6 items, and all of a sudden you start to get in a little bit of trouble if you're Iran. And for Iran, though, as well, they've got a lot of crowd control, but it's going to be interesting to see the way that this Jarvan works, and especially interesting to see if they swap this top and jungle here. We talked about Kayle most likely in the top lane. If you run jungle Kayle now, it's something that I haven't seen, at least not as much as Jarvan jungle. The more recent nerfs to Devour jungle is now ranged carries only get those procs like every 4 auto attacks. So
I haven't personally seen Kayle jungle ever since the Devour nerfs. But what I tend to notice when I'm watching professional game is when even if certain champions are supposed to run Devours, they go with different itemization. For example, Kindred has been run a lot during the Kespa Cup and was not running Devours, but was running Warriors.
Right. Well, let's go ahead and get this underway. We are about to enter the first game of League of Legends here at the International Esports Federation 7th World Championship. Iran facing off against Thailand. Here you can see Iranian team there on the blue side. Thailand will be on the red, and we're about to get this game underway. The teams are out of their fountain, and thanks to the new season, you get a little bit of a home guard boost there to start things off a little bit more quickly.
Orianna chose to take Barrier instead of Teleport to maybe for more survivability during the laning phase. I don't know if it was the right choice, but I guess that's what they're going for. That means that Thailand has both top and mid running teleport, so they have double teleport pressure at bot lane, so that's something that Iran needs to work for, needs to keep in mind throughout this entire game.
Now talk a little bit maybe about the teleport choices, just because, previously everybody ran teleport. You'd see junglers run just absolutely everything with teleport, but now this is a new season, teleport not quite as strong as it used to be.
Teleport, yes, there were some nerfs. If you teleport to tower, it used to give cooldown reduction on the summoner spell, but it doesn't anymore. However, teleport spell in itself is how much you utilize it and how much you want to operate the game itself. Right. So running double TP both mid and top puts a lot of pressure on the bot lane whenever a team fight happens. So. Right. And
another thing to talk about is the lack of a swap. We were talking about top lane Kayle. It's actually Kayle in the jungle. Yes. And some interesting itemization there. An item that I think absolutely no one I've talked to has ever recommended buying. The Cull item for Jarvan top lane.
That's a very interesting item choice.
I don't know about that. So in case you guys are unfamiliar with the most recent patch, maybe you've never seen Cullbot in any of your games, it's an item that theoretically is supposed to be a scaling item. So it gives you 1 extra gold per minion kill. You see those +1s popping up there on your screen. And then when you get 300... or when you've got 100 creep score, you also get 300 gold on top of that.
So it's like a mini, Avarice Blade.
Yeah, the idea is that it's a little bit greedy early so you get more gold later on. However, I think a better strategy usually is to just kill enemy champions and then farm gold that way, which you can do by buying stronger individual itemization. So.
Yeah, itemization. But early game itemization, it's all personal preferences for teams. So you see
miss here, there on the play and the hook.
Hit level 2 first, but
yeah, like you said, level 2 first for the Thailand team. So the LazerCats off to a pretty decent start. Getting that level 2 lane dominance, but now coming in for one of the first
level 2 gank.
Yeah, awesome. Moving forward, Kayle's gonna try to cut him off, but
Rek'Sai's right there in the red side jungle, so I don't think this will.
Yeah, never good to run into an unwarded jungle, even though, had he continued, Rek'Sai actually very, very low health at that point, might have been vulnerable. There is the grab, tumbling right into it, immediate ignite there on Vayne. Jarv backing up towards the turret, explosion there from that explosion shot.
Barely survives, but good trade bot lane. Only Summoner's loss was ignite.
Immediate flash, but the counter flash for the knockup. Is there going to be enough damage? I was going to say, will there be enough damage? Kind of combined there. Another death sentence will land there onto Dark Face. Is the place for that explosive shot, but it's not going to be enough. But now we're talking about we're going to see exactly what I was talking about earlier. No, not enough health there.
And double buffs going to KO jungle with an early kill.
To be fair, if those buffs had gone to Orianna mid lane, that might have been a little bit more devastating. But anytime you get double buffs from the opposing jungler, you're going to have a bad time if you're getting ganked by that. Red buff.
Straight up to top lane again.
Yeah, right up to top lane, and Claire is going to be able to clear out.
He does have flag.
Is that enough? The red buff ticking through, but a health potion, it's a pretty good item to buy. It's going to save Argonaut's life up there.
This kill jungle failed gank at level 2. I thought he was going to be a lot behind Rek'Sai, but he managed to kill off Rek'Sai and pull off another successful gank, getting flash for Lulu at top lane. So he's doing a lot this game.
Yeah, teleport back up to the top lane. Okay, I was like, wait a second, why is he teleporting into lane? And I was like, okay, it's a new patch.
Yeah, again going for a gank mid lane with no flash Orianna, no barrier. So
will there be enough damage? Mackenzie's actually completely out of mana, so there's no follow-up to that whatsoever. Now, bottom lane, we haven't been talking about this, but we've seen a consistent insistence by Scar to walk straight into death sentences. However, doesn't have to worry about that if Thresh isn't in lane. However, with Brave Guilty returning, might be a little bit more dangerous. You see absolutely no fear, but he's actually going to take a lot of damage there. Oh, the explosive shot, the flash, the death sentence perfectly blocked there, taking a turret shot, but is this going to be enough damage? Murphy has so much damage to deal, but not enough health to get in there and really deal
level 5, we saw maybe 6 fights coming in. This is one of the probably the fast-paced games I watched recently. Bot lane for Tristana Thresh lane is definitely a lot stronger than Vayne Braum in terms of general, but Vayne was taking trades early by getting hooked unnecessarily, but in terms of lane matchup, that's not a lane that you're supposed to win, but looking good for our Thailand right now, as of now, other than the grow and kill jungle.
Now, the idea of the way that the top lane works out, okay, Lulu, really good champion to pick against super hard engage. That's kind of what Jarvan wants to do. So it's going to be a rough lane there for Jarvan. Now, however, now we've got another interaction between both junglers. However, it looks like Anat JW is going to bring Brave Guilty along with him. We've got fighting in the mid lane there as well, all over this upper jungle. And nice to see this roam. I want to say right on schedule. You have your bottom lane, you finish that lane up, and you start that support rotating. But now, we're actually going to have Scar run up onto Murphy. A lot of damage being put down there. Rocket jumping in. Gets condemned back away, but it's not enough. And there's the explosion with Murphy picking up first blood for Thailand.
Yeah, a little bit greedy there from Scar. He blew both of his flash and heal before from the trade beforehand, and so did you try to go for a 1v1 play right there without quick pressure?
Oh, Clea's baiting this in. No, the rocket jump in. Murphy is going to try to get pulled back out to safety. Clea's going to take a lot of damage. Only level 4 flashes back into the brush. Is it enough to flash out the rocket jump, the reset? Murphy is out of there. Another kill going to Thailand. Walks right into Dark Phase. He's going to pick up that kill. Some bloodthirsty support action going down there, but a very strong start for Murphy.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get out there alive with the dangerous game. But you know, Murphy
needed a little bit more help there. Yep. But top lane
Dark
also needs a little bit of help. Argonaut, he's we can call that Murphy's Law. Something can go wrong. It's going to go wrong there, and he wound up dying in the end. But top lane, starting to get a little bit rough there with Jarvan falling a little bit further behind. Going for some sustain in the form of active sustain from that lifesteal. However, lifesteal is a lot more expensive now. You don't really quite get the bang for your buck as you did in previous patches.
Yeah, Jarvan's probably having a really hard time against Lulu, who's typically strong against melee AD champions.
Oh, going for the all in there. The flash underneath the turret. I guess Mackenzie's securing that kill, and he will get it. An interesting flash in there, but hey, when you go in for the kill, you might as well commit for it. Mackenzie clocking in for his first kill of the game. Great Guilty is going for some adventures of his own. He's going to come down for a very strong gank towards bottom. Now he's scouted out by the pink ward, which he will inevitably take out, but Kale waiting right around the side here. Gonna get condemned into the wall. Damage coming in from Clay. He is past level. He's level 6, so he does have that intervention. Will be able to save somebody's life. There's a teleport coming in. Braum there with a nice knock-up onto Mackenzie, but Clay a little bit of a struggle there. Dark Phase very low as well. Out to the back line. A concussive blow stuns Murphy. And he's unable to get the kill onto Dark Phase. A big turnaround there. Zoran firing back now. Top lane. Not going to be too good for Jarvan. He's back towards his turret. What? No, he dunked back in. Not going to be able to make it out of there. Decided he thought it was over and wound up,
do a little bit of damage before going down.
Yeah, not going down without a fight by any means, but now that does set up with all the action on the top half of the map. Iran knows where an JW is, so they don't have to worry about him stealing Dragon. And sure enough, right on schedule, Iran at the 8.5, maybe 9-minute mark, securing themselves the first Dragon of this game.
A lot of fights coming in here. It's pretty atypical of competitive matches. 9 minutes, we already have 9 kills on the board, so...
Hey, kill a minute, that's the kind of League of Legends I like. Now, there's this conflict in League of Legends, Justin. So you've got the spectators, they love tons of kills, tons of action, just like everybody killing, dying, lots of awesome plays and stuff like that. But from a competitive standpoint, you actually want to see as little of that as possible. You want to see like really strict strategic games with lots of objective control and killing turrets. And like, that's cool, and we can talk about that certainly, but I love the bloodthirstiness, and it certainly seems like we're getting a lot of that this game. A little bit of action there in the mid lane, but it looks like things have finally quieted down. We will be seeing Thailand play a little bit later on versus South Africa here as well, and I think Iran scheduled to play maybe later on in the day. Nope, looks like this is the only time we're going to get to see them, so get it while you can, and it looks like Iran are getting it while they can. They're just barely ahead in kills, but it's really the goal that you have to look for. Whoa, tumbling into the death sentence. Perfect prediction. The teleport coming down to the bottom lane. Boom goes the dynamite. That's going to be a shutdown for Murphy. Going deep, going the distance onto Darkface. Looks like Darkface is not going to make it out of there. A double kill again for Murphy. Shockwave will pull Mackenzie back underneath the turret, but no, flashing out at the last second. Awesome.
And this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the game, running 2 teleports. Lulu already TP'd down boss. Apparently, I guess at that instant didn't work out very well, but now Victor, let me correct myself, Victor teleported earlier, but now Lulu come in here, pulling off another successful dive at bot lane, so they're putting more emphasis on the bot lane since this is a bot AD carry focused team composition.
So it's just all about protecting Murphy, who, to be fair, off to a pretty good start. Got that 420 score coming in, 75 to 45 CS. Man, that is a devastating strength to have in your team when it is so focused. Oh no, Clay, caught out by himself. You can't intervene yourself out of that one, I don't think. Or can you? What? Okay, the glitter lands at the last second, securing that kill onto Kale.
Still coming in.
Possible turnaround here. All-Cigar wanting an opportunity to go in there, but not going to overextend into the enemy team. Mackenzie, in the meantime, he's all the way up top lane. He's got his own way to play League of Legends, and it involves clearing that lane out and helping push that down.
A mistake from Cleo over there. They knew that they were moving up after harassing that second tier turret bot, but still managed to just walk in there. Maybe if there was a teleport coming in flank, but a little bit too late. I don't know the communications, but definitely a big mistake.
Consistently across the board, with the exception of the support role. Every single player from Thailand higher CS, like a support and jungle. But you also got to look at where the builds are at coming in here. You've got Cinder Hulk, so tankiness from the jungle. You got tankiness from the top lane too, and that Rod of Ages Lulu. I know I've heard mixed results on that. How do you feel about Rod of Ages Lulu in the top lane?
Rod of Ages Lulu, as a top laner, I don't really like Rod of Ages Lulu, but I feel like it gives a lot of health and a lot of mana, and as you mentioned, it builds a lot of
going for the big dive in there onto Awesome, knock backwards, the explosion will take him down again. Murphy 5-2-1. We got bottom lane in a 2v1. Will this be Scar going down the glitter lands to take him out? And now we've got another bloodthirsty support versus support battle. Argonaut trying to kite this out.
Face is coming out of this alive.
Darkface finally gets those concussive blows, but there's the ultimate Lulu with a 2 versus 1. Argonaut comes out on top, living up
now
to the
we are at
name.
6.6k goal lead at 13 minutes. If Thailand can snowball this into another big lead, I don't see Iran pulling this off very well.
Well, you got to look at it. If we're talking about protect the AD carry composition here for Thailand, the LazerCats, if you need 2 champions to get ahead on that team, it's the support and the AD carry. Well, we've got support up in the top lane in the form of Lulu. 4-0-1 and 5-2-1 score there for Tristana. Safe to say, they're pretty strong, so really, really devastating. However, if you can lock down one of those champions, maybe kill off one of them, maybe take out Lulu so she can't support Tristana anymore, that's possibly a way to come back into this game. However, just look at the options to get kills in that department. You've got a Jarvan who's 2 long swords into his build, and he's got 30 CS left on that cull.
And a Vampiric Scepter coming.
Man, specifically another item to point out here, the Static Shiv. If I'm not mistaken, here on the preseason patch 0.23, we've got a bunch of changes to Static Shiv. Primary one being that it does a lot less damage. Whoa, jumping in! Okay, that's one way to go aggressive, but awesome, very, very low. Will that give the reset there? Does look like Argonaut going to go unstoppable with a kill there. Scar trying to kite backwards, gets underneath his turret there. Brave Guilty still up in the front, taking things up. There's a huge Chaos Storm on top of the gravity field. Darkface taking on the damage, just barely able to escape the Glitter Lance. It does look like an Ostagar will be able to pick up that kill. Will the Glitter Lance come in for another kill? No, just barely. Not able to find the kill there. You need to see the pink ward placed underneath the turret just to be able to scout out Scar as he was trying to stealth away.
And we just saw Murphy just going in with rocket jump over there.
Oh my gosh, there's a godlike Lulu. And he's not going to stop there. Ostagar, he's in a little bit of a rough spot. He's flashing away, but it's just not going to be enough. A double kill for Argonaut. This top lane, Lulu, beyond godlike at 8-0-1. Man,
Lulu definitely is not the carry of the team, but with 8 kills, does a lot of damage.
I didn't really expect that. You're like, okay, the Rod of Ages is going to take some time to stack up. You might be a little bit slower start. It turns out he's not taking it slow at all. This Lulu top lane, absolutely devastating. Now, he's not quite to that Flame Horizon where he's 100 CS up over his lane opponent. But if you just look at that lane, just absolutely devastating. Now, finally a Tiamat coming in for Charger, but I don't even know if that's going to be enough to turn this one around.
And Jarvan because if you're picking Jarvan top lane, you also need to be able to split push against the other laner, but he's not going to be able to 1v1 with Lulu at all. And in team fight, if he builds a Tiamat, he's going to die instantly. So he can't act as a tank either. So, Dragon taken by red team.
Yep, so Thailand going to be able to pick up, that's their first dragon of the game. To Iran's credit, they actually were able to pick up the first dragon, so it's actually pretty commendable. They got that early objective lead, but they lost way too much over the course of their lanes, and even with Tristana, the big damage dealer coming out as a big threat, you still got this crazy Lulu to watch out for. He's now completed Morellonomicon, has that spell penetration for Sorcerer's Shoes, and his push coming in may be next to impossible for Iran to stop.
And keep in mind, Triss is also very fed compared to other champions in this game. 5-3-3, has about 5 CS over the opposing laner, got IE already, so. And Static Shiv has been nerfed, actually I've mentioned in 5.23 from talking to a lot of pro players. They choose to go for the Rapid Fire instead of Static Shiv these days, but.
And I mean, Rapid Fire Cannon, a great item to even buy. I know, man, not JW may be caught out here. There's contested blows. Is this a catch here for Iran? The last auto attack from Kale's going to take it out.
And then the Lantern didn't go over the wall.
Oh my gosh, might be a little bit too much damage. There's the Jarvan dunk on in. Darkface with a little bit of struggle, but look at Clay going in, picking up another kill. Ostagar in there with a third, and this is a rout. Might be the death for Murphy's Law. Coming in gets the explosion, but it's a double kill for Jarvan.
Lot of damage coming in from Warriors and Champions, Stinger, Kale. So maybe this is the new meta.
Okay, now let's see how this eye mechanic works on the Rift Herald. When the eye is open, he does take bonus damage from those auto attacks when you hit him up. And he's going to go down here. They did decide to give the Rift Herald buff to Ostagar. So he will be using that to split push. Like you said, that's kind of what Jarvan does. And to be fair, when we were talking about him not really being able to 1v1 Lulu in that matchup, still able to contribute a lot in these team fights. That's exactly what happened there to turn that around for Iran.
I mean, to give a little bit benefit of the doubt, it was the fight started with Rek'Sai getting caught out, being not able to do anything, and then not the entire members of the team was there at the moment. But it was a very nice catch by the Iranian team, so maybe they're coming back.
Well, speaking of coming back, Tristana's going to come back from that death, only her 4th death of the game, comes back from base and does still go with that static Shiv build, so it's still going to compound that crit chance on with the IE, so some synergy there. The other option, or at least one of the other options, would be something along the lines of like a Phantom Dancer. So as far as AD carry itemization, what do you really look to for like the big, strong items on this new preseason patch?
Honestly, things have been changing so much, so fast that I've been able to keep up with it, but the itemization of AD carries makes them a lot stronger, especially after the 3rd core item. Makes them unstoppable, especially for champions like Caitlyn.
Oh, Ostagar, nice flag and drag away. Does have that mini Baron buff for the minions, however, when you're going up against the Tristana that is this strong, you can just see how devastating that is.
Yeah, with all the 2nd tier gone.
Oh, perfect play there to keep Ostagar from dunking in. He's still going to get a great engage up. Murphy very low. Rocket jumps away. Nice save onto Ostagar. He's going to be intervened and able to get out of there alive. Nice lasers coming in. Beautiful shockwave, but it's just not enough damage. Murphy grabbing another kill there onto Darkface. That's a 2-for-0 exchange in Thailand's favor.
Yeah, could not finish off Lulu there, especially with the ult. Good fight coming in here with Iran, but just damage difference, the item difference.
Turret falling there as well, and Iran had a little bit of a comeback there after a couple of catches in the jungle, but when they're facing up against the 5-on-5 might of this LazerCat squad, that's going to be all they can do to defend this turret. It looks like they will not be able to. Turret kill is down. A lot of damage in there. Onto Austin the Flash. The knock up there by Anat. And he's going to be able to pick up that kill onto Oriana. One more kill coming back. And it looks like Claire trying to go in there and get the kill up onto Brave Guilty. Anat so low, but not going down this fight. The inhibitor, not so lucky. It is going to fall. Darkface, not quite able to get taken out, but just barely able to escape there. Ostagar might not be quite so lucky. Shield there from the Golden Ages. Able to survive that. Murphy jumps in underneath those turrets. Doesn't even matter. That is one strong Tristana. 9, 4, and 5 there. The current score for Murphy,
and
cleaning things up.
Yeah, and then we no longer have any 2nd tier turret left. The Inhib sculpts on top turret. So all they need to do is just keep pushing, keep sieging for the 2nd tier mid turrets and the third tier mid turrets, the Inhib turrets, and just keep snowballing this lead, and that's all they need to do.
Now some good wave clear. We talked about that earlier here for the Thailand LazerCat squad. Say that 5 times fast. But that wave clear has allowed them, along with that static shift, even though it's nerfed, it's the same idea, just kill the minions faster. That's what's allowed them to push so quickly down both mid lane and top lane. You can see that pushing advantage really, really strong as they've been able to not only get their advantage in lane, but then snowball that into leads in other lanes. Now, as far as itemization is concerned, the one thing I'm looking at is that Lich Bane first, right after your Hex Core upgrade on Victor. I haven't seen that in a while. Is that something new to this patch, or maybe just stylistic?
It is new to this patch, but also the fact that a lot of the items that AP mid laners used to go got a lot of nerfed in terms of cost. So like itemization has been a lot of different for different mid laners recently, but Lich Bane has always been part of Victor's core items, so it's not a bad pick to buy, especially when you're trying to get those turrets down real fast.
The second dragon going to go over here to the LazerCats. They'll be able to take that one out pretty effortlessly. The second dragon, not really the most impactful. I think you really look towards 1, 3, and 5 at being a pretty big deal.
Yes.
But it's still one more dragon towards getting further buffs, and it is going to allow them to have a little bit more pushing power when it does come down to it. Man, for Iran, it's all they can do to just keep these super minions out of their base in the meantime. LazerCat's going towards the Baron. Baron down to maybe a third of his HP gone, but it doesn't look like really anyone from Iran is going to come up to contest there. Down to half HP, and it looks like Claire might be working his way up, but I don't think he's going to be there remotely in time. This Baron will go over to Thailand just in time. Ostagar trying to get in there for a kill, but he's just going to jump in and go down. Now, possible comeback here for Iran as they look to take down some of these low health members. They are getting knocked up, will intervene. There's a nice shockwave. Murphy will go down. Possible comeback here for Iran as they continue to dish out damage, but oh no, just melting a little bit too quickly. Awesome, not awesome enough to get out of there.
Yeah, it's with the first tier turrets from all 3 lanes from Thailand LazerCats not being down, there's simply no way to push a Vision into that Baron pit, so they were able to take that Baron very flawlessly and seamlessly, and then now they're transitioning this into another turret and the inhibitor.
Murphy maybe a little bit out of position going down there in that fight, but hey, 10, 5, and 7, he's contributing regardless of that. He's even bought the new Last Whisper, so a little bit questionable. I don't think the entire armor for the Iranian team is a Warden's Mail on Braum, and then another cloth armor there on Awesome. So not really a lot of bonus armor to penetrate, but hey, it's still going to give him some extra damage. And pretty standard item build here for Tristana, at least based on previous patches.
Yeah, there's not much objectives to take other than the bottom third tier turret with the inhibitor. So they're probably looking to move down here.
Here we go, trying to clear out these Baron minions. As they walk forward, they will lose that Baron buff, so maybe be a little bit easier to clear, but still with super minions pushing down the top lane, it's really just stretching this Iranian team so thin to defend the push down bottom lane. We got Lulu pushing in the mid lane. We got super minions up top lane, and this is really going to come down to, can Iran defend this? If they can, they may stay in the game for a little bit longer, but if they can't, it's going to signal the end as Thailand continues to push in further and further mid lane. Inhibitor is going to go down there. Great pushing in there by Argonaut. He's going to rotate down towards the bottom, and this is going to be where the game is decided. Shockwave immediately blowing up Mackenzie, but he's able to stay alive there for just a few seconds longer. Allcigar dead, and now Braum dying as well. The pushing through, and not JW taking up that turret. Might go down here. Bane tumbles in. He's going to get knocked up, flashed in on, and taken down. There's Murphy going for the utmost. Triple kill coming in there for Murphy. And oh, it was Quadra at the end. Murphy going off this game 15, 5, and 7. The pentakill to close out the game. The Thailand LazerCats coming out with a dominating 29-13 score. They will take down this Nexus and win Game 1 of the 7th IESF World Championship. What an incredible play. Incredible to watch. It's our first match of the day. It's only going to get better from here. Once again, these will be best threes. You're going to get a chance to see these teams play a little bit more. But wow, what a first match to start things off with.
Yeah,
Justin.
the pace of the game has been a lot faster since the preseason changes, but we saw a lot of skirmishes happen pre-level 5 that just determined the entire game afterwards. Like, there were a lot of comebacks, and especially in the fight in the bot lane, but after that, the individual lanes snowballing their own lead with their CS differential. I think that's what turned this game into what it was.
Right, just little advantages snowballed into bigger and bigger ones. Lulu just got completely out of control there in the top lane. Ostagar, while he was able to make a couple of nice catches for around there towards the mid game, just wasn't really able to do those Jarvan things. Split pushing didn't work out. Was never really able to 1v1 his lane opponent. And you got to talk about Murphy, that crazy Tristana, maybe a little bit too crazy at some points, but still just absolutely devastating.
We saw the classic Wound initiation taken from old CJ Antis Wound, where he jumps in as an AD carry, takes out all the aggro and flashes out immediately. So that's another way to engage, I guess.
There's advanced strategies coming out there, but it was still really, really fun to watch. And that's what's so exciting for me, is to see a lot of new players, a lot of new teams. And up next, we're actually going to have Philippines taking on Trinity World from Russia. So that's going to be an exciting matchup to watch. The games continue here today. We do have 6 matches coming your way from these opening preliminary group stage rounds. It's going to be exciting to see which teams kind of bubble up towards the top and which nations come in and wind up going out here in the first day of IESF. So it does look like we are going to head to a quick break. So thanks for watching. We should be getting into our second game here momentarily.